Hi, my name is Mark Zelensky, and I build a company called delegated, which helps founders automate business processes and eventually helps them build a digital-first company or an engineering company where digital processes are the main processes. The automated processes are the main processes, not the processes which are based on human work, so not the human workflows. And today I'd like to talk about the automations or no-code automations and the evolution of non-professional automation of business processes. So non-professional, I call them non-professional because they do not require the knowledge of any programming language, which means that any person which can operate a computer can automate the processes. The first automation, probably the first, were the computer programs, and it was long ago, in the last century, maybe 50, maybe 60, 70 years ago. And the automation guys, the people who were automating everything using computers, were actually programmers. So they wrote programs, and programs were the way to automate steps or to repeat some steps. So that was called a program. And they would need to know a programming language. When computers became common in the offices and even at homes, at schools, everywhere, and most of the people started to use them, it turned out that most of the people didn't know programming language, so they didn't know how to automate some things. And this way automations started to appear in the form of computer applications or computer programs, which were distributed and could be run or executed or operated by normal users without knowing any programming language, or without knowing even how the computer works. And the programs would have a user interface. In the beginning, they would have a command line interface, but when Windows and Macintosh computers appeared, then the users started to use user interface, a graphical user interface. And that was the way to automate some processes. So a user would get an application with a graphical user interface, and the graphical user interface would allow them define the processes they would like to run. Using the parameters, using the buttons. So they had a button to start the process, to finish the process, to set the parameters of this process or the application. Some of the applications were running in the background. They didn't have any computer graphical user interface, and those processes were running kind of with a pre-programmed process, so the users couldn't change the process in real time. In the future, when internet came and when internet became common everywhere on every computer, these programs started to migrate into SaaS or software as a service, and they didn't require installation on a user's machine, and that solved a very big problem, the problem of compatibility, because computers are not the same and operating systems are not the same, and there's a huge combination of hardware and software, and that made installation and running of software problematic. So there were customer service specialists who were specializing in installation problems or running problems of the applications which were executed on users' machines. And SAS solved that problem. SAS runs on one machine or a cluster of machines or physical or virtual machines. Sometimes it's not machines, not even virtual machines, but microservices. And the problem of installation has gone, and the users could start using SAS by subscription model, and that was the next step in non-professional automation. That was a very good way of automating things, but it was not enough. People started to think about how they can automate, how they can integrate SAS and their own services together. For example, emails and SAS service, which, for example, can process this email and generate a report, and that report would be saved on a local disk or in a intranet space. And that would require using several services. And so one SAS would not be enough, and people started to automate these workflows, which included many services. People started to automate the workflows using scripts. It was something in between non-professional and professional. So the people who wrote the scripts, they knew a little bit of programming, just a very little bit, because script is not real software, and that was enough. And this was also supported by the automation specialists who were professional programmers, and they could write a small application, a homemade application that would automate or pre-program certain flows, and it would even provide APIs or user interfaces, CLI interfaces, or GUI interfaces, and that was replaced by no-code automations. No-code automations allowed people to do the same as a script or the automation application would do, but without knowing any programming language. And that would be the next step in the evolution of non-professional automation. And these no-code automations can be implemented using a very simple drag-and-drop mechanism in GUI, in graphical user interface. The users could just connect the nodes. A node would be a service. It could be a SAS, or it could be an internal service, it could be email service. Actually, whatever, anything that provided a programmable interface. For example, it could be an API. These services could be connected using connectors, and the connectors could be also defined, configured, and that way the whole workflow would work. That workflow is good for an individual workflow. For example, if a specialist, an operational specialist, for example, a customer service specialist, would need to automate a repeatable workflow, he or she would would be able to use this non-professional no-code automation instead of writing scripts or asking automation developers to build an automation application for them. That is a very good solution for a local automation, but it doesn't work for systematic, for company-wide or even team-wide automation, because it's quite fragile. Every service is not monitored. It can return bad values. It can return bad data. It may not even start. It may not even be triggered. So this workflow, in that case, the workflow would not work as expected. Same as with scripts, which were prior to no-code automations, and they also used in many places till now as legacy solutions. Same problem as with scripts. It's not scalable. Scripts cannot be scaled to the team. Only the owner of that script, only the guy who wrote it, can really maintain it, and no one else can really do much about that script. It's probably easier to write a new script. By the way, nowadays using AI, using LLM or wipe coding as they call it, those scripts can be written much easier than no-code automations, because it's a text. Script is a text, and a program is a text, and LLMs are very good with text. No-code automation is fragile, and it doesn't scale very well to the scale of the team, to the scale of the company. And it was recently replaced by agentic AI or agents. These agents can basically do the same as these no-code automations or scripts previously, and they can request any services. They can process the data, and they can use the data, and they can feed it to any other service, and they can even orchestrate other agents, and they are increasingly replacing no-code automations. This is kind of a new way to do the same thing. It's kind of more modern. It's nice because it's kind of AI. It's very interesting nowadays. Very hot topic, but it inherits the same issues as no-code automation and the scripts previously. The agentic automation is also not scalable. It's also very fragile because it does basically completely the same thing as no-code automation. It requests remote or local services, and it processes the data, and then it just feeds the data to the results of the processing to other services. And the processes are not monitored and are not controlled. So if a service is down, or if a service is behaving not as expected, then the whole pipeline, the whole workflow can crash. The highest level of automation is not non-professional. Although I was going to talk about non-professional, but I would like to finish this video, to conclude this video with a with the right and stable and scalable, controlled, observable, and monitored way, which is the systematic or full code automation. And this is exactly what we at Lighted do. We build a platform for digital first companies, which can be used as the core for systematic automation of all the processes. This system can use no-code automations. It can also monitor no-code automations, all the workflows, and it doesn't matter whether it's a script or it's a no-code automation or it's agentic automation. It doesn't matter. It can monitor these workflows, and in addition it can integrate anything, and it can be integrated into anything, and that way it can serve as a foundation for a digital first company.